Imagine this. You walk into a room. You say nothing. But people notice you. They respect you. They listen when you speak. They don't interrupt. They don't question your presence. They don't treat you like you're invisible. Now, imagine the opposite. You walk into a room and no one even acknowledges you. People talk over you. They dismiss what you say. They joke at your expense. You feel like an outsider in a place where you should be valued. Why does this happen? The answer is simple. People treat you the way you allow them to treat you. Respect isn't given freely. It's not about how much money you have, how tall you are, or how loud you speak. True respect, real, deep respect, comes from your presence, your mindset, and the way you carry yourself. And here's the secret. The greatest minds in history already figured this out centuries ago. The ancient Stoics, men like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, were masters of self-respect and unshakable confidence. They didn't demand respect. They didn't beg for it. They embodied it. And because of that, people followed them, listened to them, and admired them. Today, you're going to learn 10 powerful Stoic lessons that will make sure no one ever disrespects you again. If you understand and apply these lessons, you'll never have to chase respect. It will come to you naturally. But before we dive in, let me ask you this. Have you ever felt like people don't take you seriously? Like your words don't carry weight? Like you're being ignored or overlooked? If so, then this video is for you. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share will change the way people see you forever. Respect isn't about being the loudest person in the room. It's not about forcing people to listen to you. It's not about intimidation. It's about control over yourself. And this is where Stoicism becomes your greatest weapon. Stoicism is not just an ancient philosophy. It's not just a set of ideas from thousands of years ago. It's a practical guide for living a life of strength, wisdom, and confidence. It teaches you how to handle disrespect, criticism, and insults without losing your power. Think about some of the most respected people in history, men like Marcus Aurelius, who ruled the Roman Empire with wisdom and discipline, Seneca, who advised emperors and never let wealth corrupt him, Epictetus, a former slave who became one of the most influential philosophers of all time. These men understood something that most people today never learn. You don't get respect by demanding it. You don't get respect by arguing with people. You don't get respect by acting tough or aggressive. You get respect by being unshakable. When people see that you are in control of yourself, your emotions, your reactions, your thoughts, they instinctively respect you. They may not always like you, but they will respect you. Before we dive into the 10 lessons, we need to understand why people disrespect others in the first place. Disrespect doesn't always come from hate. Sometimes it's a test. Sometimes it's subconscious. And sometimes it's simply because people can sense weakness. Here's what I mean. When a person disrespects you, interrupts you, dismisses you, mocks you, what they're really doing is testing you. Will you react emotionally? Will you get defensive? Will you break under pressure? If you react with anger, frustration, or insecurity, they know they've won. You've given them power. But if you remain calm, composed, and unbothered, they start to question themselves. They start to feel uneasy, because suddenly you are the one in control. This is exactly how Marcus Aurelius handled his enemies. As the most powerful man in Rome, he was constantly surrounded by people who wanted to manipulate him, insult him, and even overthrow him. But no matter what happened, he never reacted emotionally. He never let their words shake him. He stayed calm, in control, and above it all. And that is why he was respected. Now, let me ask you something. When someone disrespects you, do you react immediately? Do you get upset, argue, or try to prove them wrong? Do you feel the need to explain yourself or defend yourself? If so, you're giving them power. But don't worry, that's about to change. Over the next hour, I'm going to give you 10 powerful Stoic lessons that will make you unshakable. These are the same principles that the greatest minds in history used to command respect without ever asking for it. Here's what you'll learn: how to control your emotions so no one can manipulate you. How to speak less and observe more so people listen when you talk. How to become indifferent to praise and criticism so you never feel insecure. How to stop explaining yourself and start proving yourself through actions. How to use silence as a weapon to make people respect you instantly. And most importantly, you'll learn the ultimate mindset shift that will make sure no one ever disrespects you again. This is not about arrogance. This is not about ego. This is about building a mindset so powerful that people naturally see you as someone they cannot overlook. If you want to be respected by your boss, your friends, your family, even strangers, then you must learn to respect yourself first. And the best way to do that: master the principles of Stoicism. Let me leave you with this thought before we dive into Lesson 1. Think about the people you respect the most, the people you admire, the people who seem calm, confident, and unshaken no matter what happens. What do they have in common? It's not wealth. It's not physical strength. It's not even intelligence. It's their inner strength. They don't react emotionally. They don't let small things bother them. They don't beg for approval. And because of that, people naturally follow them, listen to them, and respect them. Now you're about to learn exactly how to develop that same power. Let's begin. Lesson 1. Master emotional control. The moment someone controls your emotions, they control you. Let that sink in for a second. Think about the last time someone insulted you, made a sarcastic comment, or dismissed your opinion. How did you react? Did you get angry? Did you try to argue back? Did you feel the urge to prove them wrong? If you did, then in that moment, they had power over you. They dictated your emotions, they dictated your mood, and worst of all, they won. Because when you react emotionally, you're showing them that their words or actions can shake you. And the second people see that they can affect you, they will do it again and again. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine someone insults you, mocks you, or tries to embarrass you, and you just stand there, completely calm, unbothered, and in control. You don't flinch, you don't react, you don't give them the emotional response they're looking for. What happens? They become uncomfortable. They start to question themselves. Suddenly, they are the ones who feel weak. This is the power of emotional control. And no one understood this better than the Stoics. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "If someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation." What does that mean? It means no one can make you angry unless you allow it. No one can make you feel small unless you give them permission. No one can control your emotions unless you hand them the keys. So let me ask you, why would you ever give someone that power? There's a story about a Stoic philosopher named Cato. Cato was a politician in ancient Rome, known for his unshakable self-control. He had enemies, many of them. People constantly tried to provoke him, insult him, and push him to react. One day, while walking through the streets of Rome, a man spat in Cato's face in front of a crowd. Now, imagine if someone did this to you. What would you do? Most people would explode with anger. They'd shout, fight back, or demand respect. But not Cato. He simply wiped the spit off his face and kept walking. No reaction, no anger, nothing. And what happened? The man who spat at him felt humiliated. Why? Because he expected Cato to get angry. He wanted a reaction. He wanted to see Cato lose control. But when he didn't get what he wanted, he felt foolish. He lost. The next time someone tries to get a reaction out of you, whether it's a rude comment, an insult, or someone trying to embarrass you, pause. Take a deep breath and remind yourself, they only have power if you react. Instead of getting angry, do this. Stay silent. Silence is powerful. It makes people uncomfortable. Give a slight smile. It shows you're in control. Walk away. Show them their words mean nothing. And most importantly, never explain yourself. When you argue, defend yourself, or try to prove them wrong, you're admitting that their words matter to you. But when you remain calm, you show strength. That's how you win respect. Lesson 2. Indifference to praise and criticism. If you need approval, you're a slave to others. Think about this. How much of your life have you spent worrying about what other people think? Have you ever held back your opinion because you didn't want people to judge you? Have you ever hesitated before posting something online, wondering if people would approve? Have you ever dressed a certain way, acted a certain way, or spoken a certain way just to fit in? If so, you're not alone. Most people spend their entire lives chasing approval and avoiding criticism. But here's the truth. If you care too much about what people think, you will never be free. Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his personal journal, "We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinions than our own." Think about how crazy that is. You are the one living your life. You are the one who faces the consequences of your actions, and yet you let strangers' opinions dictate your choices. Why? Because society has trained us to seek approval. From a young age, we are taught that being liked is important. We are rewarded for fitting in. We are punished for standing out. But Stoicism teaches us the opposite. A true Stoic does not crave praise and does not fear criticism. They are indifferent to both. Why? Because both praise and criticism come from other people's opinions, opinions that have nothing to do with your inner self. One day, people will love you. The next, they'll hate you. You can't control it. So why let it control you? There's a story about Socrates, one of the greatest philosophers of all time. Socrates was known for his wisdom, but also for his complete indifference to praise and criticism. One day, a man approached him in the streets and started insulting him in front of everyone. He called Socrates ugly, stupid, and worthless. He tried everything to provoke him, but Socrates didn't react. He didn't get angry. He didn't even look offended. Instead, he just stood there, calm and relaxed. When the man finally stopped, frustrated that he wasn't getting a reaction, Socrates simply said, "If someone offers you a gift and you refuse to take it, who does the gift belong to?" The man replied, "To the one who offered it." Socrates smiled and said, "Exactly. And if I refuse to accept your insults, they still belong to you." And with that, Socrates walked away. That is power. If someone praises you, don't let it inflate your ego. If someone criticizes you, don't let it shake your confidence. Instead, do this. Remind yourself, praise and criticism are just opinions. They don't define you. If someone insults you, see it as their problem, not yours. If someone praises you, accept it politely, but don't let it change your self-worth. The moment you stop chasing approval and fearing criticism, you become untouchable. And that is how people will start respecting you, not because you asked for it, but because you no longer need it. Lesson 3. Speak less, observe more. Weak men talk, strong men observe. Think about the last time you were in a conversation with someone who talked too much. Maybe they kept bragging about themselves. Maybe they shared unnecessary details. Maybe they tried too hard to impress you. How did you feel? Most likely you tuned them out. You weren't really listening. You were just waiting for them to stop talking. Now think about the last time you were around someone who spoke very little, but when they did speak, their words carried weight. You listened, you paid attention. Why? Because their silence created power. The Stoics believed that speech is like a sword. If you use it too much, it becomes dull. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, once wrote, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we should listen twice as much as we speak." Yet most people do the opposite. They speak without thinking. They talk just to fill silence. They blurt out words without considering their weight. But here's the truth. The more you talk, the less people value your words. And the less you talk, the more people listen when you do speak. This is a psychological principle called the law of scarcity. When something is rare, people value it more. This is why people respect those who listen more than they speak. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful emperors in history, was known for his calm presence. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't speak just to show his authority. He spoke only when necessary. One of his generals once said, "When Marcus spoke, the whole room went silent, not because they feared him, but because they knew his words were worth hearing." That's power, and that power comes from restraint. When you talk too much, here's what happens. You reveal too much about yourself. People use that information against you. You come across as insecure. People who are truly confident don't need to explain themselves all the time. You lose control of the conversation. The more you speak, the more others learn how to manipulate you. Now, compare that to someone who listens more and speaks less. They remain mysterious. People respect what they don't fully understand. They observe others carefully. They pick up on details that talkers miss. When they finally speak, people stop and listen. This is why speaking less makes you instantly more powerful. Starting today, practice the 3-second rule. Before you speak, pause for 3 seconds. This does 2 things. 1, it gives you time to think before you talk. Most people blurt out the first thought that comes to mind. Don't be like them. 2, it makes people more interested in what you're about to say. A pause before speaking creates anticipation. Also, when someone asks you a question, don't rush to answer. Take a breath, think, then speak calmly and briefly. You'll notice that people start paying more attention to your words. They'll see you as wise, composed, and in control. And over time, this will change how people respect you. Lesson 4. Never complain, never explain. A man who complains is a man who begs for sympathy. This might sound harsh, but it's true. Think about someone who always complains. They complain about their job. They complain about their boss. They complain about their bad luck. Now ask yourself, do you respect them? Probably not, because complaining shows weakness. It tells the world, I have no control over my life. And here's the worst part. No one cares about your complaints. People might listen out of politeness, but deep down, they are either 1. Annoyed because they have their own problems to deal with. 2, judging you for being weak and powerless. This is why Stoics never complain. They don't waste time on things they cannot change. Instead, they adapt, adjust, and move forward. Marcus Aurelius faced betrayal, war, and death on a daily basis. Yet, in his personal writings, he never once complained about how unfair life was. Instead, he wrote, "The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have." This is a powerful mindset shift. When you stop complaining, you take full ownership of your life. You become the master of your fate. The second part of this lesson is just as important. Stop explaining yourself. When someone doubts you, what's your first instinct? Do you try to convince them that you're right? Do you justify your choices? Do you seek validation for your decisions? If so, stop. Because the moment you explain yourself, you lower your value. Strong people let their actions speak. They don't waste time trying to convince others. There's a famous story about Julius Caesar. Before he became ruler of Rome, people doubted his abilities. Instead of arguing, instead of trying to convince them with words, he simply acted. He trained harder than his soldiers. He made bold military decisions. He led his men to victory. And suddenly, the same people who doubted him were now following him. Because actions always speak louder than words. Starting today, make 2 commitments. 1. No more complaints. If something bothers you, change it or accept it, but don't complain about it. 2. No more unnecessary explanations. If someone questions you, let your actions answer for you. When people see that you don't complain and don't explain, they will respect you more. They will see you as someone who is calm, strong, and completely in control. And that is the key to commanding respect without ever asking for it. Lesson 5. Embrace discomfort. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Most people don't want to hear this, but it's true. The more comfortable you become, the weaker you get. Look at society today. Everything is designed for comfort. You can get food delivered to your door without moving a muscle. You can watch endless entertainment without ever leaving your couch. You can avoid challenges, avoid difficult conversations, and avoid anything that makes you uncomfortable. But here's the problem. Comfort makes you weak, and weakness invites disrespect. If you want people to respect you, if you want to build unshakable confidence, you must train yourself to embrace discomfort. This is something the Stoics understood better than anyone. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, was one of the wealthiest men in Rome. He had everything: power, luxury, influence. But do you know what he did regularly? He lived like a poor man. At least once a month he would sleep on the floor, eat the simplest food, and wear old, ragged clothes. Why? Because he wanted to train his mind to be strong. He wanted to remind himself that he could survive with nothing. He wanted to make sure that if he ever lost everything, he would still be unshaken. That's what true strength looks like. It's not about always having comfort. It's about knowing that even if everything is taken from you, you will be fine. The world we live in today is the opposite of the Stoic world. Instead of training ourselves to handle discomfort, we avoid it at all costs. We avoid difficult workouts because they're painful. We avoid hard conversations because they're uncomfortable. We avoid taking risks because we fear failure. And every time we do this, we become weaker. We teach our minds that discomfort is bad. We teach ourselves to run away instead of face challenges. And people can sense this. If you're someone who avoids discomfort, you will never earn deep respect. People respect those who are willing to do what is difficult. People admire those who can handle discomfort without complaining. So how do you start building this strength? The solution is simple. Start putting yourself in uncomfortable situations on purpose. 1. Take cold showers. Train your body to handle discomfort. 2. Do something that scares you every day. Speak up in meetings. Start a conversation with a stranger or try something new. 3. Push yourself physically. Exercise even when you don't feel like it. Lift heavier, run further. 4. Practice silence. Stop filling the air with nervous chatter. Embrace quiet moments. 5. Go without luxuries for a few days. Sleep on the floor, eat simple meals, turn off your phone for a weekend. The more you do this, the stronger you become. And when people see that you are comfortable with discomfort, they will respect you. Why? Because you will stand out. You will be one of the few people who doesn't crumble when things get tough. You will be one of the few who can handle pressure, pain, and hardship without breaking. And that is what makes someone truly powerful. Lesson 6. Control your body language. Before you say a word, your presence speaks. Most people think confidence comes from words. They think that if they say the right things, people will respect them. But the truth is, respect starts before you even open your mouth. It starts with your body language, your posture, your eye contact, your movements. These things send a message before you ever say a word. And if your body language is weak, people will treat you as weak. Research shows that over 70% of communication is nonverbal. That means people judge you more by how you carry yourself than by what you say. Think about it. When you see someone walking with their shoulders slouched, head down, avoiding eye contact, what do you think? You instinctively assume they are nervous, weak, lacking confidence. Now, think about someone who walks slowly, with their shoulders back, chin up, and calm eye contact. They don't rush, they take their time. You automatically assume they are confident, in control, respected. This is why your body language matters. You can say the strongest words in the world, but if your body language is weak, people won't take you seriously. Look at the most respected people in history. They all have one thing in common. They move with purpose. They don't fidget. They don't rush. They don't look nervous. Instead, they move slowly, deliberately, and confidently. Look at Marcus Aurelius. As the emperor of Rome, he didn't need to yell to command attention. He didn't need to demand respect. He simply carried himself with calm, unshakable confidence, and people followed him. This is a skill you can develop. The way you move, the way you stand, the way you make eye contact. These things determine how people see you. Starting today, practice these 5 powerful body language habits. 1. Slow down your movements. Confident people don't rush. Walk slowly, take your time, and move with purpose. 2. Stand tall. Keep your shoulders back and your head up. Never slouch. 3. Make steady eye contact. Don't stare, but don't look away too quickly. Hold eye contact just a second longer than normal. 4. Take up space. Don't shrink yourself. Sit and stand in a way that shows you are comfortable in your space. 5. Keep your hands still. Fidgeting shows nervousness. Confident people keep their hands relaxed and controlled. These small changes will transform how people see you. People respect those who carry themselves with confidence. And the best part, you don't even have to say a word. Lesson 7. The power of silence. A man of few words commands the room. Think about the last time you were in a group conversation. There was probably someone who spoke a lot, always jumping in, interrupting, trying to be the center of attention. And then there was someone else. Someone who listened more than they spoke. But when they did speak, everyone listened. Why does this happen? Because silence is power. The less you say, the more people respect your words. The more you speak, the more people take you for granted. This is a simple rule of human psychology. When something is rare, people value it more. This is why the most powerful people in history understood the power of silence. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus had a simple rule: keep silent for most matters, speak only when necessary. And there's a reason for this. When you are silent, you don't reveal too much about yourself. You don't waste words on meaningless talk. You force people to pay attention when you finally speak. Compare that to someone who talks all the time. People tune them out. Their words lose value. They come across as desperate for attention. The truth is, the more you speak, the more chances you have to say something foolish. But when you practice controlled silence, you come across as someone with deep confidence and strength. Look at some of the most respected leaders in history. One thing they all had in common: they never rushed to speak. They would pause, think, and then respond carefully. This creates a sense of mystery, authority, and power. Even today, If you look at some of the most successful CEOs, politicians, and leaders, you'll notice this pattern. They don't blurt things out. They don't rush to fill silence. They use silence as a tool to make people respect them, and you can do the same. Starting today, practice these 3 silent power techniques. 1. The pause. When someone asks you a question, wait 2 seconds before answering. This makes you seem more thoughtful and composed. 2. The silent response. If someone insults you, don't react. Just give them a calm look and say nothing. This makes them uncomfortable and shifts the power to you. 3. The quiet presence. When in a group, don't try to dominate the conversation. Listen, observe, and when you do speak, say something meaningful. When you master the power of silence, people will naturally start respecting you more. Lesson 8. Be willing to walk away. A man who can walk away has ultimate power. Think about the relationships in your life, your friendships, your job, your family, your romantic relationships. Now, ask yourself this. If someone disrespected you, would you have the courage to walk away? Most people wouldn't. Most people cling to bad relationships, toxic friendships, and unfulfilling jobs because they fear losing them. But here's the truth. If you are not willing to walk away, you are a prisoner. And people sense this weakness. The moment they know you need them more than they need you, they lose respect for you. But when you are willing to walk away, you hold all the power. This is what the Stoics understood better than anyone. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is a core Stoic principle. Never attach your happiness to anything outside of your control. If you need someone's approval, you are weak. If you need your job to feel secure, you are weak. If you need a relationship to feel whole, you are weak. The strongest people in the world are the ones who can say, "I would like this, but I do not need it." And that is what makes people respect them. There's a powerful story about a successful businessman. He built a company from nothing. He worked hard, made sacrifices, and became extremely wealthy. One day, his business partners tried to manipulate him. They assumed he was too attached to the company to leave. They told him, "You need us. We can control you." Do you know what he did? He walked away. He left the company he built and started a new one. And guess what happened? His old business partners lost everything without him because they had underestimated his power. His power wasn't in his money. His power wasn't in his business. His power was in his ability to walk away without fear. And that's why people respected him. Here's how you develop the power to walk away. 1. Know your worth. Remind yourself daily, "I am valuable and I don't need to beg for respect." 2. Set boundaries. If someone repeatedly disrespects you, don't argue. Step back. 3. Detach emotionally. Train yourself to be indifferent to loss. If a job, relationship, or friendship isn't serving you, be ready to let it go. 4. Stay in control. Never make decisions from a place of fear. Make them from a place of power. When people see that you don't need them, they will start treating you differently. They will start giving you the respect you deserve. And the best part? You won't have to ask for it. It will come naturally. Lesson 9. Detach from outcomes. Control what you can, accept what you can't. This is the key to unshakable confidence. Most people live in a state of fear. They fear failure. They fear rejection. They fear what people will say about them. And because of this fear, they hesitate. They overthink. They avoid taking action. But here's the truth. The people who command the most respect in life are the ones who are detached from the outcome. They take action without fear. They speak their mind without worrying what others will think. They make decisions without stressing over results. And because of this, They move through life with confidence and power. This is what the Stoics called amor fati, the love of fate. It means accept whatever happens and keep moving forward. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, said, "Happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within our control and some things are not." This is the foundation of Stoic thinking. Imagine you're about to give an important speech. Most people would feel nervous. They would start thinking, what if I mess up? What if people judge me? What if I fail? But the Stoic mindset is different. Instead of worrying about things you can't control, you focus only on what you can control. And the only things you truly control are your preparation, your effort, your attitude. Everything else, the audience's reaction, the outcome, the results, is out of your hands. So why waste energy worrying about it? This is why detachment from outcomes is so powerful. It frees you from fear. And when you are free from fear, people sense your confidence. There's a story about a famous martial artist. Before every fight, reporters would ask him, "Are you afraid of losing?" And every time he would smile and say, "I don't think about winning or losing. I focus on fighting my best." This is why he was respected, because he wasn't controlled by fear of failure. Most people hesitate in life because they focus too much on winning or losing. But the strongest people focus only on giving their best effort. And ironically, this makes them more likely to succeed because they are not paralyzed by fear. Here's how you develop detachment from outcomes. 1. Remind yourself daily. I control my actions, not the results. Write this down. Say it often. 2. Take bold action. Speak up. Apply for the job. Ask for what you want. If it works, great. If it doesn't, move on. 3. Stop seeking approval. Whether people like or dislike you is out of your control. Live by your own values. 4. Reframe failure. See every failure as a lesson, not a loss. Learn and keep going. When people see that you are calm and fearless in any situation, they will naturally respect you. Now, let's move on to the final lesson. Lesson 10. The ultimate Stoic mindset shift. No one disrespects you without your permission. Read that again, because once you truly understand this, your entire mindset will change. People will only treat you the way you allow them to treat you. If someone insults you and you react emotionally, you show them that their words have power over you. If someone takes advantage of you and you stay silent, you teach them that it's okay to disrespect you. If someone disrespects you and you tolerate it, you send the message that you don't value yourself. But when you set strong boundaries, when you refuse to be affected by disrespect, you command instant respect, because people can only treat you badly if you allow them to. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This means that disrespect only affects you if you let it. If someone insults you and you don't react, the insult loses power. If someone doubts you and you stay confident, their opinion becomes irrelevant. If someone tries to control you and you remain independent, they realize they have no influence over you. This is why the strongest people don't beg for respect. They simply carry themselves in a way that demands it. There's a famous story about a Stoic philosopher who was insulted in public. A man walked up to him and started shouting, calling him names, trying to get a reaction. But the philosopher remained calm. After a while, the man got tired and stopped. The philosopher simply smiled and said, "If a stranger handed you a gift and you didn't take it, to whom does the gift belong?" The man was confused. The philosopher continued, "If I refuse to accept your insults, they still belong to you." This is the ultimate Stoic mindset. Disrespect is only real if you accept it. If you refuse to let it affect you, it has no power. Here's how you master this mindset shift. 1. Never react emotionally. If someone insults you, stay calm. Don't give them power over your emotions. 2. Set boundaries. If someone constantly disrespects you, walk away. Silence is more powerful than arguments. 3. Stop explaining yourself. If someone questions your decisions, you don't owe them a justification. Live by your values. 4. Remind yourself daily. No one can disrespect me unless I allow it. Make this your mantra. When people see that you are immune to disrespect, they will start respecting you more. Because true power comes from self-control. You have now learned 10 powerful Stoic lessons that will ensure no one ever disrespects you again. These are not just ideas. These are not just words. These are time-tested principles of power, confidence, and unshakable self-respect. If you have truly absorbed what I have shared with you in this series, then you already know respect is not something you ask for. It is something you embody. It is not about dominance. It is not about forcing people to see your worth. It is about becoming the kind of person who naturally commands respect. And the way to do that? By living these 10 lessons. But before we recap them, let's take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself this: how many times have you let people walk over you? How many times have you lost control of your emotions and regretted it? How many times have you held back from speaking your mind because you were afraid of judgment? How many times have you tolerated disrespect, hoping it would stop on its own? Now ask yourself this: what would your life look like if you mastered these 10 Stoic principles? What if, from this moment forward, no insult could shake you? What if you walked into every room with quiet confidence, knowing that you don't need to prove anything to anyone? What if people naturally listened when you spoke, not because you demanded attention, but because your presence commanded it? That life is possible, but only if you take action. Let's go over the 10 lessons one last time. Lesson 1. Master emotional control. If you react emotionally, you lose. Control your reactions, and you take back your power. Lesson 2. Indifference to praise and criticism. Never seek validation. Never fear judgment. Walk your own path. Lesson 3. Speak less. Observe more. Say less. Listen more. And when you do speak, make your words count. Lesson 4. Never complain. Never explain. Do not explain yourself. Let your actions speak for you. Lesson 5. Embrace discomfort. Train yourself to do hard things. Strength comes from struggle. Lesson 6. Control your body language. Stand tall. Move with purpose. Your posture tells the world who you are. Lesson 7. The power of silence. Stop filling silence with nervous chatter. Let people feel your presence. Lesson 8. Be willing to walk away. If you are afraid to lose something, it owns you. Be willing to leave any situation that disrespects you. Lesson 9. Detach from outcomes. Fear of failure makes you weak. Focus on your actions, not the results. Lesson 10. The ultimate Stoic mindset shift. Disrespect only affects you if you let it. The moment you stop caring, you become untouchable. Now let's imagine for a moment that you ignore everything you've just learned. What happens? You keep reacting emotionally, letting people manipulate your mood. You continue seeking validation, adjusting yourself just to be liked. You talk too much, losing respect every time you open your mouth. You tolerate disrespect because you fear confrontation. You avoid discomfort, staying weak instead of becoming strong. You remain attached to things and people who don't truly value you. This is the path of weakness, and if you follow it, life will be harder, not easier. People will continue to test you. People will continue to walk over you. People will continue to see you as someone they don't need to respect. So the choice is yours. Stay the same or become unshakable. If you are serious about transforming yourself, you need to live these lessons every day. Here's how you do that. Step 1. Choose one lesson to focus on today. Don't overwhelm yourself. Pick one lesson and apply it immediately. Maybe today you decide to stay silent in conversations and observe more. Maybe today you refuse to react emotionally to anything. Maybe today you practice walking with better posture and confidence. Whatever it is, commit to it fully. Step 2. Keep a daily Stoic journal. Every night, ask yourself, did I stay in control of my emotions today? Did I avoid complaining? Did I speak less and observe more? Did I act with confidence? Write your answers down. This will keep you accountable. Step 3. Test yourself in difficult situations. If someone insults you, don't react. If you feel the need to explain yourself, stop. If you feel fear before doing something, do it anyway. The more you apply these lessons in real life, the faster you will transform. If you've made it this far, you are already ahead of 99% of people. Most people will hear wisdom, but never apply it. But you are different. You are here because you are ready to change. You are here because you are done being ignored, dismissed, or disrespected. You are here because you are ready to step into your true power. So I challenge you, start now. Take one lesson from this video and apply it immediately. And if you're serious about continuing this journey, do this. Comment below. Which lesson impacted you the most? Subscribe for more powerful Stoic lessons. Rewatch this video whenever you feel yourself slipping back into old habits. Because this isn't just about learning. This is about becoming. Becoming a person who commands respect. Becoming a person who is calm, confident, and unshakable. Becoming a person who no one will ever disrespect again. Your journey starts now. Stay strong, stay stoic,